Welcome to Sacred Seasons, a place where ancient stories breathe again, and the voice of the earth still whispers through time. Here, we walk the wheel of the year, honor the old gods and goddesses, and remember the wisdom written in the wind, the fire, the soil, and the stars. Take a deep breath, open your heart, and step with me beyond the veil of the ordinary. There is a moment before the first light breaks, when everything inside you becomes unmistakably honest. It is the hour when the world grows silent enough for you to hear what you have avoided, and the truth rises like a tide you can no longer hold back. This is where I want to meet you, not in the noise of your daily battles, but in that quiet space where your intuition whispers that something in your life is ready to change. You feel it as a pressure behind your ribs, a restlessness you cannot explain, a calling that refuses to fade. That calling belongs to the Morrigan, the ancient guardian of sovereignty, who appears when a person reaches the threshold of their deepest transformation. She does not arrive to frighten you. She arrives to remind you of the power you forgot you carried. For generations, her name has been tied to battlefields, yet her true battlefield lives within each of us. It is the terrain of doubt, fear, hesitation, and the old stories that keep you smaller than your spirit intended. The Morrigan steps into that terrain not as a force of destruction, but as a guide who knows what stands between who you are today and the person you feel destined to become. She teaches that the fight is not against the world, but against the illusions that weaken your will. She stands beside you so you can cross the threshold you have avoided, the threshold of reclaiming your own life. As dawn approaches, you may notice how your breath deepens, how your chest loosens, how the truth you have been hiding begins to surface with clarity. This is the hour when change becomes inevitable. In Wiccan philosophy, this moment mirrors initiation, the sacred turning point when you decide to step out of the shadows that once defined you. The Morrigan embodies this initiation. She calls you to rise, to see with uncompromising honesty, to choose yourself without apology. She invites you to recognize that every challenge you have faced has prepared you to stand here and finally listen. The path we will walk together in this video is not about mythology for the sake of storytelling. It is about using myth as a mirror. It is about understanding how the Morrigan's lessons echo in your own unmet desires, ignored intuition, and unclaimed strength. You will be guided to see the battle within you in a new way, to approach transformation not with fear, but with sacred curiosity. Like the priestesses who sought wisdom in the rustle of wings and the turning of seasons, you are invited to discover the part of you that already knows the way forward. Stay with me through this journey. Each step will take you closer to the core of your sovereignty. Each insight will move you toward a version of yourself that no longer negotiates with fear. The Morrigan walks ahead, clearing the path so you can follow with confidence. When you feel the urge to reclaim your life, it rarely begins with a loud revelation. It begins as a tension beneath the surface, a quiet discomfort that builds each time you silence your own needs. You feel it when you say yes while your spirit contracts, when you shrink to avoid conflict, when you carry responsibilities that no longer belong to you. Sovereignty begins in that subtle awareness, in the moment you recognize the difference between what the world expects from you and what your soul is asking for. This is the realm where the Morrigan first appears, not as a distant goddess, but as a voice inside you that refuses to let you betray yourself any longer. Sovereignty is not domination or control. It is the ability to stand in your truth without bending to fear or guilt. Wiccan philosophy teaches that personal power is an inner flame that must be tended with honesty, integrity, and self-responsibility. The Morrigan embodies this flame. She calls you to rise through the choices you make. She asks, where are you abandoning yourself, and what would your life look like if you stopped? In her presence, avoidance becomes impossible. She reflects your power so clearly that you can no longer disregard it, and this reflection becomes the first step toward freedom. You may feel resistance when this call arrives. This is natural. We are conditioned to seek approval, to keep the peace, to maintain roles that were handed to us long before we questioned them. Yet sovereignty challenges all of that. It is a return to your own center, the place where your intuition guides you more strongly than external pressure. The Morrigan guides you to understand that sovereignty is not earned through grand actions, but through the everyday decisions that restore your autonomy, the boundaries you set, the truths you speak, the commitments you release. Each act becomes a declaration that your life belongs to you again. As you listen to this call, you begin to sense a shift. Your breath steadies, your posture straightens. There is a subtle but undeniable realignment taking place. You are no longer negotiating with your own spirit. You are stepping into a space where your desires have weight, where your voice matters, where your life becomes an intentional creation rather than a passive reaction. This is the Morrigan's gift. She awakens the part of you that is ready to lead your life instead of following it. She shows you that sovereignty is not a distant ideal, but a living practice waiting for you to claim it. There comes a point when you realize the battles you face are not with the world around you, but with what moves inside you. The inner battlefield is made of doubts that echo from the past, memories that shaped your fears, and beliefs that no longer fit the person you are becoming. Most people try to outrun this terrain, pretending it does not exist. Yet every step taken in avoidance only strengthens what remains unresolved. The Morrigan does not allow such escape. She meets you exactly where your inner conflict lives, not to overwhelm you, but to help you see the truth with clarity. The inner battlefield is not a place of punishment. It is a place of initiation. In Wiccan teachings, transformation often begins in the shadow, where suppressed emotions and unspoken truths call for recognition. The Morrigan guides you through this terrain with unflinching presence. She asks you to observe the fears that hold you back, the anger you repress, the sorrow you carry silently, and the patterns you repeat without question. She teaches that you cannot claim sovereignty while running from your own shadows. You must walk through them with awareness, allowing each revelation to strengthen rather than weaken you. As you move deeper into this inner landscape, you begin to understand that the conflict is not between you and your flaws. It is between you and the stories you inherited, the expectations you internalized, the wounds you never had the permission or space to heal. The Morrigan shows you that these stories can be She guides you to confront what you once avoided with a new mindset, one rooted in courage rather than fear. This confrontation becomes a form of sacred honesty, where every truth you face clears the fog that has clouded your intuition. You may feel the intensity of this process. Old emotions may rise, long-buried memories may surface, yet something inside you remains steady. You begin to witness your own resilience. You see that the part of you capable of facing this battlefield is stronger than you ever realized. This recognition becomes a turning point. You are no longer defined by what wounded you, nor controlled by what you fear. You walk through the battlefield with the Morrigan as your guide, emerging with a clearer sense of who you are and what you will no longer carry. There is a moment in every spiritual path when clarity cuts through confusion with the sharpness of a blade. It arrives unexpectedly, often after you have faced the tension within yourself and grown tired of old patterns that no longer serve you. This moment is what the Morrigan offers through the crow's eye vision. It is not about predicting the future or seeking mystical signs detached from reality. It is about learning to see what you have ignored, forgotten, or misinterpreted. It is the art of perceiving truth without distortion, a skill rooted in both ancient Celtic wisdom and modern spiritual practice. The crow has always symbolized the keeper of hidden knowledge, the messenger between worlds, the one who sees beyond the surface. When this energy enters your life, it challenges the way you have been interpreting your experiences. You begin to question your assumptions, your emotional reactions, and the beliefs that shape your choices. This questioning is not meant to destabilize you, but to free you from illusions that limit your growth. The Morrigan teaches that vision is not merely about looking outward. It is about turning your gaze inward to recognize what you have been unwilling to acknowledge. As you embrace this deeper sight, your intuition becomes sharper. You start to sense the motives behind your actions and the subtle dynamics in your relationships. You notice which situations drain your energy and which ones nourish your spirit. You recognize when your fear is speaking and when your truth is rising. This clarity becomes a form of protection. It prevents you from falling into old traps, from repeating patterns disguised as comfort, and from making choices that betray your inner voice. The crow's eye vision allows you to see the path ahead, not with certainty, but with honesty. There is power in understanding that clarity does not require perfection. It requires presence. As you cultivate this presence, you learn to trust what your body feels, what your emotions reveal, and what your intuition whispers. Each insight becomes a guidepost that leads you away from confusion and toward deeper self. The Morrigan stands beside you in this process, urging you to look with courage, to interpret with wisdom, and to act with integrity. Through her guidance, you learn that true vision is not about knowing everything. It is about knowing yourself. There comes a moment when you sense that the way you have been living no longer aligns with the rhythm of your inner world. Something feels fragmented, muted, disconnected from the natural pulse that once guided your instincts. This sensation is not a failure of strength. It is the quiet signal that the sacred feminine within you has been pushed aside by expectations, obligations, and years of moving through life in survival mode. The Morrigan steps into this moment not as a symbol of destruction, but as the force that calls you back to the truth of your own nature. The sacred feminine is not softness alone. It is the wild, instinctive, deeply intuitive intelligence that lives in your body, your emotions, and your connection to the earth. It is the part of you that knows how to create, how to release, how to transform, and how to align with cycles instead of resisting them. Modern life often teaches you to ignore these rhythms, pushing you to stay productive, composed, and available, even when your spirit needs retreat or renewal. The Morrigan cuts through this disconnect. She reminds you that your power grows when you honor your internal seasons. Reweaving the sacred feminine means reclaiming the parts of yourself you once silenced. It means listening when your intuition tightens, when your emotions rise, when your body signals that something is out of balance. These sensations are not weaknesses. They are ancient forms of knowing. Cunningham taught that nature reveals its wisdom through patterns, and you are part of that living pattern. When you reconnect with cycles of rest, growth, release, and creation, you restore a harmony that strengthens every aspect of your life. As you weave these threads back together, you begin to feel a shift. Your choices become more aligned with your values. Your boundaries grow clearer. Your relationships become more authentic. You stop chasing validation and start cultivating self-respect. The Morrigan stands as a mirror during this transformation, reflecting the truth that the sacred feminine is not something you must earn. It is something you return to. It is the part of you that thrives when you allow yourself to be whole rather than edited. Through this reconnection, you reclaim the wisdom that has always belonged to you. There are times when healing does not arrive as a gentle embrace. It arrives as a force that pushes you to stop tolerating what wounds you. The Morrigan embodies this form of healing, the kind that demands honesty and action rather than silence and endurance. This is the healing born from boundaries, from truth-telling, from refusing to carry burdens that no longer belong to you. It is the healing that arises when you choose yourself even when it feels uncomfortable, even when it challenges the roles others expect you to play. Healing through fierceness begins the moment you recognize that avoidance has kept you stuck. When you try to soothe pain without addressing its source, the wound remains open, repeating itself in new forms. The Morrigan guides you away from this cycle. She teaches that healing requires facing what hurts with clarity rather than fear. In Wiccan philosophy, this is the path of the empowered witch, the one who turns toward what must be transformed instead of hiding from it. Through this approach, pain becomes a doorway to truth rather than a cage. Fierceness is not aggression. It is the courage to act in alignment with your own well-being. It is the voice that says no when your energy is being drained. It is the internal shift that stops you from sacrificing your needs for the comfort of others. It is the recognition that your peace matters, your boundaries matter, your spirit matters. This kind of fierceness is deeply compassionate. It protects what is sacred within you and creates space for genuine healing to unfold. As you embody this energy, you notice changes in the way you move through the world. You speak more clearly. You commit more intentionally. You let go more easily. You understand that healing does not erase the past, but it transforms your relationship with it. The Morrigan stands with you throughout this process, reminding you that fierceness is not a mask, but a medicine. It strengthens your spirit, sharpens your intuition, and restores the sovereignty you have been reclaiming step by step. Through this healing, you rise with a clarity that cannot be shaken. Transformation does not happen by accident. It begins the moment you stop waiting for permission and decide to participate in your own evil. This is the essence of the witch's pact with transformation, a silent agreement between your present self and the person you know you are meant to become. The Morrigan embodies this pact with uncompromising clarity. She does not offer comfort. She offers initiation, asking you to step into a new version of yourself with intention, awareness, and accountability. A pact is not a promise made to an external force. It is a vow made within. It is a recognition that you can no longer live in the space between fear and desire. Wiccan wisdom teaches that magic begins where intention meets action. The Morrigan brings this teaching to life by guiding you to understand that change requires commitment. You must choose the direction of your path, not only in moments of inspiration, but in moments when doubt tries to pull you back into the familiar. This pact becomes the anchor that keeps you aligned when old patterns attempt to regain control. To engage in transformation, you must be willing to release what no longer reflects your truth. Sometimes this means stepping away from relationships that keep you small, habits that weaken your spirit, or narratives that were never yours to carry. These releases can feel like losses, but the Morrigan reframes them as sacred offerings. Each shedding creates space for renewal, clarity, and authenticity. She teaches that transformation is not a single moment. It is a living practice shaped by choices, rituals, and the courage to keep moving even when the path feels uncertain. As you honor this pact, you begin to feel a shift in your energy. You notice how your intentions become sharper, how your presence deepens, and how your actions start aligning with your inner truth rather than your fears. You are no longer negotiating with the person you used to be. You are stepping into the person you are becoming. This is the power of the pact. It transforms hesitation into momentum and confusion into direction. With the Morrigan as your guide, transformation becomes not only possible, but inevitable because you are no longer resisting the call to rise. There's a moment when you realize that the answers you have been searching for were never hidden. They were simply spoken in a language you forgot how to hear. Nature has always served as an oracle for those willing to listen. Every shift in the wind, every ripple in water, every call of a crow carries a message that mirrors something unfolding within you. The Morrigan uses this language with precision. She guides you to understand that the natural world is not separate from your spiritual path. It is the living mirror that reflects your inner truth with unfiltered clarity. Cunningham taught that nature speaks through patterns, and your spirit instinctively recognizes these patterns because you are part of the same living web. When you feel unsettled, you may notice your body respond to the sound of rain or the stillness before a storm. When you are at a crossroads, you may feel pulled toward the forest, the sea, or open sky. These impulses are not random. They are invitations. Nature calls you into environments that help you process, release, or see what you could not see in the noise of daily life. As you reconnect with these natural signals, your intuition strengthens, a sudden gust of wind awakens hidden emotions. The rhythm of waves synchronizes with your breathing, clearing space for new insight. The presence of crows sharpens your awareness, reminding you that you are never walking alone. The Morrigan uses nature as a channel, guiding you toward experiences that align your inner world with the wisdom of the earth. This connection does not require elaborate rituals. It requires presence, attention, and a willingness to let the world around you teach you. Over time, nature becomes more than scenery. It becomes an ally that grounds you, clarifies your thoughts, and restores your strength. You start to sense when you need fire's intensity, when you need water's release, when you need earth's stability, and when you need air's perspective. These elemental teachings weave into your daily life, helping you make decisions with confidence and peace. The Morrigan stands at the center of this relationship, reminding you that the earth is not only your home, but your teacher. Through nature, you receive guidance that supports your sovereignty and deepens your understanding of your own path. There comes a point in your journey when clarity is no longer a luxury. It becomes a necessity. Discernment is the ability to cut through noise, emotions, expectations, and illusions so you can see your path with uncompromising truth. The Morrigan places a sort of discernment in your hands, not to create conflict, but to help you separate what strengthens your spirit from what drains it. This sword is symbolic, yet its impact is profoundly real. With it, you begin to understand that every choice is an energetic exchange, and not all exchanges honor who you are becoming. Discernment sharpens the moment you realize how much of your life has been shaped by inherited beliefs. You start to question the narratives that keep you repeating the same patterns. You notice when your desire to be accepted pushes you into situations that do not align with your values. You recognize a difference between intuition and fear, between loyalty and self-sacrifice, between growth and stagnation. This clarity is not always comfortable, but it is liberating. It reveals where your energy flows freely and where it is blocked by attachments that no longer serve you. The Morrigan teaches that discernment is an act of sovereignty. It is the moment you stop allowing emotions to cloud your vision. You observe them, understand them, and then decide from a place of grounded awareness. This shift transforms your inner landscape. You speak with more precision. You act with more integrity. You no longer move through life on autopilot. Instead, you choose with intention, understanding that each decision is a spell cast into your future. Wiccan philosophy reminds you that power without clarity leads to chaos, but power with discernment leads to transformation. As you cultivate this skill, the sword becomes lighter in your hands. Each truth you acknowledge strengthens your confidence. Each boundary you set reinforces your alignment. Each illusion you release opens space for authentic expression. Discernment does not disconnect you from others. It deepens your connection with yourself, making every relationship more honest and every decision more meaningful. With the Morrigan at your side, you learn that clarity is not found by waiting. It is forged through awareness, courage, and the willingness to see without distortion. There comes a moment when all the lessons, struggles, revelations, and quiet awakenings converge into a single truth. You are no longer who you once were. You have walked through your inner shadows, faced the stories that shaped your fears, reclaimed your sovereignty, and learned to discern your path with clarity. This is the moment when the Morrigan stands before you not as a distant guide, but as a reflection of the strength you have cultivated. The rite of returning to your power is not a ritual performed outside yourself. It is a profound shift that happens within, a recognition that your life now moves in alignment with your truth rather than your wounds. Returning to your power is an act of remembrance. It is the moment you acknowledge that the force you once sought in the world has always lived inside you. Wiccan philosophy teaches that power flows where presence goes, and your presence has been sharpening with every insight, every boundary, every courageous choice. The Morrigan guides you to understand that power is not about dominance. It is about grounded self-authority, the ability to make decisions that honor your spirit, protect your energy, and reflect your values. This right is the quiet yet undeniable shift from seeking external validation to trusting your own inner compass. As this right unfolds, you feel your energy settle into place. Your breath deepens, your vision clears. You sense the subtle return of parts of yourself that were lost, silenced, or scattered through years of self. You begin to recognize how your voice sounds when it is unfiltered, how your intuition feels when it is no longer ignored, and how your presence expands when you stop apologizing for your truth. The Morrigan reveals that this is the essence of returning to your power, the realization that you are whole, capable, and worthy of directing your own path. Walking out of this right, you move differently. Your steps feel intentional. Your choices feel aligned. Your spirit feels anchored. You no longer react from instinctive fear. You respond from conscious awareness. This transformation is not loud. It is steady, unwavering, and deeply rooted. You have reclaimed what was always yours, and the world around you begins to shift accordingly. This is the moment when the Morrigan steps back, not because she leaves you, but because she trusts you to lead yourself forward with the strength that you have rebuilt. Your power has returned, and now it moves with you. There comes a moment when everything you have walked through begins to make sense. It is not the kind of understanding that arrives in the mind. It rises in the body, steady and unmistakable, like a quiet truth that has been waiting for you to stop running. This is the moment when the Morrigan's teachings settle into your bones, not as myth, but as lived experience. You realize that sovereignty is no longer an idea you admire. It is a state you inhabit. You feel it in the way your breath steadies, in the way your choices sharpen, in the way your presence fills the space around you without forcing anything. This is your return. The Morrigan stands before you not as a distant goddess, but as a witness to your transformation. She has walked with you through shadow, through clarity, through fierce healing, and through the reclamation of your inner fire. Her presence now is quiet, almost ceremonial, because the final step is yours alone, to recognize the power that has awakened within you. Wiccan philosophy teaches that true magic begins in the moment you accept your own agency. This right is that acceptance. It is the recognition that the strength you sought has grown inside you through every choice you made to protect your spirit, honor your truth, and follow your intuition. As you complete this right, you feel something shift. The person who once doubted, hesitated, or waited for approval is no longer the one standing here. You have reclaimed the parts of yourself that were abandoned. You have seen through illusions that once controlled your decisions. You have learned to discern, to set boundaries, to speak with integrity, and to act from a place of inner alignment. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a life lived with conscious intention. The Morrigan steps back, not because she withdraws her guidance, but because she trusts the sovereignty you now claim for yourself. You walk forward with a new kind of confidence, the kind that does not need to be proven or performed. It lives quietly beneath your skin, shaping the way you move, speak, and choose. You understand now that returning to your power is not a single moment. It is a continual practice, a way of living that honors the truth of who you are becoming. The Morrigan's presence remains in the rustle of wings, in the stillness before dawn, in the instinct that rises when something is meant for you. She has shown you the path, and now you walk it by choice, with clarity, courage, and unwavering sovereignty. The flame burns low, but its light remains within you. The circle opens, yet it is never broken. Carry this stillness with you in breath, in step, in heart. May the turning of the wheel guide your path, and may your spirit walk gently upon the earth. Until we meet again beneath the same moonlight. Blessed be